You have no idea how important, how powerful your mind is. You make yourself sick. And some of my clients say, well, what do you mean I don't want to be sick? But if the mind is that powerful that you can make yourself sick, it's also powerful enough to heal you. I found a way where we could heal instantly anything, absolutely anything, any disease, any illness, everything. I have them coming with every illness you could possibly think of. I see miracles every day in my office. And they wanted me to teach this method so everybody would know the importance of how you can use your mind. You have no idea how important, how powerful your mind is. You are a great and powerful creature. But that's the idea, is to show people you're more than just a physical body. You have such wonderful capabilities. And now is the time to bring all of this back and to show other people how we can do it ourselves, how you can use the power of your mind. You can change the script anytime you want. You're the writer. You're the actor. You don't like the way the scene is going? Change it. This is how much power we have, and we don't realize it. You don't give a baby a 3-course meal. You give a baby milk, cereal, crushed vegetables. You don't give a baby a steak. So you have to do it gradually. So there's probably some of you who are still taking your baby steps into the metaphysical world. But I've done it so far now that nothing surprises me. Nobody knew about reincarnation in the 60s. Nobody knew about metaphysics, was unknown. The New Age, nobody would have heard of that. So when I started out, there was nothing. So I go back a long time. And no books to tell a hypnotist what to do or anything. But that's how long I've been doing the hypnosis, because I work with thousands and thousands of people. And if you get the same stories again and again, then they know it has validity, because they don't know what I've already received, and they don't know all the other pieces of the puzzle. I have to put it all together. Sometimes getting a piece from one client and then a piece from another client to get the whole concept and the theory together. And so in the beginning, it really challenged my belief systems. I thought I had the whole theory of reincarnation figured out, because I'd been in on it since the beginning. But when I began studying the new concept they were giving me, it began making a lot of sense, even though it was a challenge. And once I accepted that, I got another one, a little harder. As I went through this all these years with the time travel, the past life regression, and all the information I was getting, I found a way where we could heal instantly anything, absolutely anything, any disease, any illness, everything. I have them coming with every illness you could possibly think of. I see miracles every day in my office. And they wanted me to teach this method so everybody would know the importance of how you can use your mind. You have no idea how important, how powerful your mind is. You are a great and powerful creature. You should never ever be sick. No aches, no pains, nothing. Because the body is a miraculous machine that's been created and perfected to take care of itself and heal itself if we don't interfere. If you have an illness or something, you have done it yourself. You make yourself sick. And some of my clients say, well, what do you mean I don't want to be sick? But if the mind is that powerful that you can make yourself sick, it's also powerful enough to heal you. We find out, why did I do this to myself? And that's what I teach in my technique, is how to find this. And I've been perfecting this technique now for 45 years. And I'm teaching it everywhere, all over the world. We have thousands of students now in every country you can imagine. But that's the idea, is to show people you're more than just a physical body. You have such wonderful capabilities. And now is the time to bring all of this back and to show other people how we can do it ourselves, how you can use the power of your mind. So it's no longer a pipe dream, it is really happening. You find your passion. You find what you're really supposed to do, what you're here for. You don't get sick and you don't age because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And you're happy doing it. So you never know what kind of a plan or contract you have made on the other side before you come in. So don't try to get out of it too soon. The best is yet to come. You don't know what the rest of the contract is. First, you have to get rid of all the old junk, the garbage and the baggage out of your life. And then you can move into what you really came for. We all began with God. I have so many clients coming to me, and on their list of questions is always, where did I come from? But they always say, why am I here too? Well, where did I come from? And I tell them we all came from the same place. No, I want to know what's my home planet. There's no such thing. We all came from the same place. Other planets are just one of the schools that we sign on to learn at. But that's not home, not the real home. We all began at the same place. We all started with God, or what they call the source. Now, I've had many, many people go back to the source. They go back to when they were with God before they ever started on this long journey to become humans. Humans are kind of like the last part of the whole thing. This is the worst part, really. But we all began at the same place, and I've had people go back and experience it, and they always describe God the same way. First, you have to get over the idea that God is a man. He's not a man. If anything, he would be a woman, because women are the creative power. But he's neither one. He's not male or female. There is no gender. And when people go back to be with God, they're just doing instead of going to past lives, this is what they do. They go back to the beginning. They always describe it the same way, that God is like a huge energy force. They describe it like a big bright light. Some of them say they are in the sun, but it's not hot. Other ones say the great central sun is what they call it. But it's a huge light. And when they're there, there's total love. They don't want to leave. They're all together. Everyone is together, and they all want to stay there. They don't want to leave. It is so much love and it's so much beauty. And when I've had people go back there, they say, don't wake me up, I want to stay here because it's so beautiful. A human being cannot really understand the totality of God, of the source. It is so enormous. Our belief in God and our concept of God is like a tiny thread compared to what it really is. We cannot understand the totality of it. It's the glue that holds everything together. If it were to wink out for a fraction of a second, everything would disintegrate. It's the collective consciousness of how it creates. That when we decided to come here, we constructed this thing out of the energy, because everything is energy. And that's how it works. All we're supposed to do is focus on this life right now and try to do the very best you can in this life. That's all you're expected to do, because the other would be way too confusing if you knew everything that was going on out there outside of your range of perception. So anyway, when we all began, we were all part of God. this beautiful light, this huge energy, total love. We all began there. And God decided he wanted to learn, he wanted to know, he was curious. So what happened? He burst out in all directions. It's called, some of them call it the Big Bang Theory. And I've had a lot of people argue with me about these things. I'm the reporter, remember, the reporter, the investigator. I report what I get. It burst out in all directions, and when it did, all these tiny sparks flew out in all directions. Some of these sparks became galaxies, some of them became universes, many of them became your own individual soul. You are not a body, you have a body. This is just a suit of clothes, a costume you're wearing right now to play this part, this role in this stage play that you're involved in. Everything is an illusion. Nothing is real. We get caught up in the illusion. So you are the producer, director, and actor in your own play. You can change the script anytime you want. You're the writer. You're the actor. You don't like the way the scene is going? Change it. This is how much power we have, and we don't realize it. What happens then if you see I didn't learn anything? You got to take that class over again. Earth is nothing but a school that you signed on here to experience. There are many schools out there, because when we start out, God said, learn everything. When we start out, God said, learn everything. Everything there is, things you can't even imagine. And then bring it back to me. And when we're all done with all of our schools, with all of our lessons, we take all the information back, download it into the gigantic computer that is God, that is the source. When they decide they're going to come to Earth and take on Earth's school, they're warned. This is going to be very difficult. You know this, don't you? Once you sign on for the Earth school, it's a long school. You can't get out of it until you are finished. You have to take all the grades, all the steps. You can't jump from kindergarten to college. You have to finish this class before you go to the next class. If you fail that class, there's no judgment. You just take it over again. And I've had many clients who are taking the same class over and over and over again. They go through maybe 4 or 5 lives with the same people, same circumstance, and they still haven't got it. You probably know people like that in your own lives, drawing the same circumstances to them time after time, the same kind of people to them time after time. Like, when are you going to get it? Now, the universe, one's running all of this, and I'm glad somebody's running it. They don't care how long it takes you to pass one class, one grade. You have eternity. But do you want to take eternity to learn one little lesson? While everybody else is going on to high school, to college, you're still stuck on the 2nd grade. If that's what you want, it's your free will, you can do it. But if you realize you're just repeating the same class over and over again and not moving forward, then it finally begins to get into your head, okay, I don't need to keep repeating this. I'm going to move on. They said it doesn't matter if you get rid of all the karma in one lifetime. It's not expected. It's too hard. It's too much. Do what you can. Then you can always come back next time and finish up some. They said one of the most important lessons I could teach people was that everything has consciousness. Everything. Everything is alive. just vibrating at a different frequency. Means that table is alive, the floor is alive, the bottle of water is alive, the clock is alive. Look at what a powerful creature you were. You were creating. That's our innate ability to create. So you were forms of life like that. I've had some people say, I've been told I was an old soul. I said, if you're an old soul, you're a slow learner. Taken a long time to get it all down. Is this hard for you to understand? I think it makes you look at things a little differently. Some people go through lives that nothing happens to them. They skate through life and it's just very easy. They're living a resting life. But you don't know what they are resting up from. The last life may have been horrible. Maybe they were killed in war or something. Or maybe they're resting up for something. This is why you can't judge. So you start looking at things a little differently. And that's what I like about this work, because I never know what's going to come out when we do the sessions. Okay, this is the way it has been up until now. Now the world is going through an enormous change. These old paradigms are not going to apply anymore. Because so many of us have taken so long to learn the lessons, we're caught on the wheel of karma. We haven't got it. We keep making the same mistake over and over and over again. And you don't get out of anything. You have to take that lesson until you learn it. But it's the wheel of karma. One of the only things that Jesus came to teach us was how to get off the wheel of karma. So he came to show us how to get off of the wheel. Of course, the only way is always with love. Love is the greatest thing there is. God, the source, is total love. And that's all they're ever trying to teach anyone. It's just that life on Earth is so much difficult. I said this is the most difficult planet in the universe. The densest, the heaviest. They say when you sign on to come here, they really admire you. You have to be very brave to take that step. They said, give this beautiful planet a creature with intelligence and free will, and see what he does with it. This planet is very unique. We are the only planet in the universe that has free will. There's a lot of things about this planet that we're the only one. The only planet in the universe that has free will. I've had people go back to planets where they don't have free will. Believe me, they don't like it. They want to get out of there as quick as they can. The prime directive was always non-interference. Every culture in the world has the legends of the culture bringer. There's always the legend of who starts, like the corn woman in the American Indians, who gave them how to plant. There's always the ones that teach them about fire, about hunting. These are in the legends of every culture in the world. And in all of these cultures, the culture bringer always comes from the sky or from across the water to give them what they need. So whenever it came time for the earth to need the new advancement, they would give it to them. We give it to you once. What you do with it is free will. You don't around us. In these dimensions, there are cities, there are people living in these other dimensions. There's life. We can't see it because it's vibrating at a different frequency. Just like if you watch a propeller blade or a fan blade, when it speeds up, it becomes invisible. These other dimensions are like that. So they said if we were to blow up this world, it would send reverberations throughout the solar system, throughout the galaxy, and throughout all these other countless dimensions. And it would create like undeclared war on these people. So if we got to that point, they would have to step in and stop us because we would mess with the whole order of the universe. This has happened many, many times down through history. One example was Atlantis. It got to the point they couldn't allow it to go on. But they can't destroy everyone. Has to be some people left to start the civilization again. You imagine what that would be like if you had the ability to use your mind and do absolutely anything. You had crystals in these cultures that could do anything. All of a sudden it's all gone. So the next development is put into the atmosphere, the next invention. Whoever gets it is the one who invents it. They don't care who invents it as long as it is in the timeline that they want. All know or heard about people all over the world working on the same invention at the same time. This is why it's getting ready to be developed. So this is why many people are always working on the same invention at the same time, because it has to be in this timeline. But then at the end of 1945 is when we dropped the atomic bomb. When that happened, it really got their attention. So we better get down there and see what these kids are playing with. If you know anything about ufology, in the end of the war is when the big mass of UFO sightings began. They came up with an idea that I thought was brilliant. They said, we can't interfere from the outside. What if we influence from the inside? The people on Earth are never going to be able to solve this problem. They're too caught on the wheel of karma. What if we ask for volunteers to come in who have never been on Earth before? We are the only planet in the universe, again, where you forget when you come to Earth. You forget your plan, you forget your contracts, you forget why you're here. But right now, everything is changing. The vibrations and the frequency, everything is changing so fast that we're beginning to remember. We're beginning to bring it back. The veil is thinning. We're beginning to get the information back. See, the vibrations and frequencies right now, this is the most important time in history to be alive. Everything is changing. That's why they said, we don't have time for you to destroy the world again and start over again. There's no more time. We have to continue on. But these volunteers were asked to come in. I found them coming from one of two places. And instead of going to a past life, many of them go back to the source. But the other place these people would go to, they would go back to where they were ETs, on spaceships or on other planets, other dimensions. Earth is a living being. You probably realize that. That's what I was saying. Everything is conscious, everything is alive. Earth is a living being. Just the way people go from body to body in reincarnation, the Earth is now going into its next incarnation. It's the same process, it's just that it takes it a lot longer. It's going to go, it's evolving. It doesn't care if the human race goes with it or not. It would just be happier if we didn't go with it. He said, we're like fleas on a dog. Just be better to get rid of us altogether. But if we want to go, we have to change our vibration and frequency to match the Earth. Because as the Earth moves into, it's going into another dimension. And this is where we're talking about the splitting of the two Earths, the old Earth and the new Earth. It doesn't matter what the clock says, time is an illusion anyway. But we are living in a shorter amount of hours in a day because of the way that everything is speeded up. the vibrations and the frequencies. And it is changing and becoming a new earth. If we want to go, our vibrations and frequencies have to change also to match the earth as it shifts into the next dimension. This is why people keep talking about the shift, the ascension. It's in the Bible, in the book of Revelation. But all of these things don't happen at the same time. They'll be gradual. If you want to go to the new earth, there's two things you have to do. Remember, most of us have been caught on the wheel of karma. Before you can go on to the new earth, you've got to get rid of all the old karma in your life. I say when I have clients, I said, you're carrying around all this baggage and this garbage. You got to let it go, or you can't go on. You have to come back and do it over again with the same people. And they'll say, I don't want to do that. I want to be rid of those people out of my life. Well, then you better work it out now. Because the only way to get rid of the old karma, you got to forgive. And people say, I can't forgive them. You don't know what they did to me. So you've got to forgive. It doesn't matter if you had a terrible home life, if you were abused and mistreated as a child. It doesn't matter anymore. Let it go. So what if you had a terrible husband? Let it go. It's not important. You hold on to it, you're going to have to repeat it because you've got to get it worked out. This is part of the earth school. So the first thing you've got to do is forgive, release, and let it go. Get it out of your life. The other thing you have to get rid of out of your life if you're going to go is fear. Fear is not real. Fear is an illusion. You hold on to fear, you are held on to the wheel of karma. Don't buy into all the fear. That holds you to the earth. Now we're going to do a little exercise here to show you how you can forgive. It's easy, but you've got to mean it. All right. I don't know how many of you need to forgive, but this would be a good exercise for you to do. And some people want to write it down afterwards. Many times the person that you're still angry about has already died, so you can't go and talk to them directly. This is the way you do it, and I'm going to show you how. Let's close your eyes. And I want you to picture that person in your mind, what they look like. And you say to that person, we tried, we really tried, it didn't work. Let's tear up the contract and see yourself tearing up the contract and throwing it away. Then you say to that person, I forgive you, I release you, I let you go. You go your way with love, I go my way. We don't have to be connected anymore at all. Okay, now you can open your eyes. But you have to mean it. Once you release them, they have no more power over you at all. The next thing you've got to do is forgive yourself. Remember, it always takes two people. You've got to forgive yourself for whatever you did. And I forgive myself for anyone I have harmed in this life or in any other life in any way at all.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Until the next video.